Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump. Yeah. I like white folks, but I don't like you. All the in the hood wanna fight you. Surprise the nation of Islam ain't tried to find you. Have a rally out LA, you know what's up. Home of the ride and King Ride, we don't give a. Black students ejected from your rally. What? I'm ready to go right now. Your racists did too much. I'm about to turn Black Panther. Don't let Donald Trump win that cancer. He too rich, he ain't got the answers. He can't make decisions for this country, he gon' crash us. No, we can't be a slave for him. He got me appreciating Obama way more. Hey Donald, and everyone that follows, you gave us your reason to be president, but we hate yours. Donald Trump.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Donald Trump.
On our YG today, Mama YG will be visiting us in the final hour of the show. Shawnee Jackson, who runs YG's foundation. She also happens to be his mama and his former manager. She'll be joining us. Right now, though, perfect for you, too. He's an abolitionist born and raised in the 2nd District of LA County, in which we currently sit. He is a graduate of Hampton University and Howard University School of Law, practices mainly criminal defense and civil rights law. Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn. Hi.
Hey, good morning, Dominique.
Welcome back. I'm always happy to see you.
Always happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Jaaye Person-Lynn, you're an abolitionist. I don't know how to describe you politically, because I love you always have a different take. You cannot predict what Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn is going to say, because you are progressive, but you are not a party line guy.
No, I'm not a party guy at all. And
not any party.
Nah, not at this point. The Black Panther Party is not moving.
They have a ballot?
It's unique, right? And you can look at things differently, right? Because somebody could hear that edited version of that song we played, the chorus, and think it's just a Donald Trump chant, because that other word that can't make the radio's not on there. It just sounds like we're saying, yay, Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, but if you listen to what he said.
On the lyrics,
yeah,
but
right.
Just that
it's
verse.
F to the U to the, anyway, in case you're not familiar.
Yeah, but the edited version.
Right, because we can't play it on the
Donald
radio.
Trump. Hey,
F Donald Trump.
Yeah, but it sounds like you just cheering him on the course.
No, that's not what's happening. Unlike some rappers who have actually been pardoned by this guy or commuted sentences.
Yes. And if I can't lie, if me or my loved one was pardoned or commuted, I'd probably be very thankful as well.
Of course you would.
Yeah.
It's and that's part of the thing that, back to the way the Republicans control the narrative, there are a lot of people that think that Trump is better for people who are justice impacted in prison, trying to get out of prison, and because he's pardoned some high profile rappers and crossed the finish line with the Obama first step legislation, which is actually something good that Trump did while he was in office. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, while he was pardoning Lil Wayne, he executed 5 black people on the way out the door. 12 death row inmates, 5 of them black.
Yeah, and you have to expect that.
And the expansion of private prisons.
There's a lot that you can expect from Donald Trump administration that would not necessarily feel good for black people. But one thing I am excited about is the 20% project that they have coming up, which is led by Michael Harry O, who had his sentence commuted by Donald Trump after nearly 4 decades. And they're using AI to identify those who are in federal custody with these long sentences that could, have served the time that's sufficient for their wrongs and their crimes, that could be out helping society be a better place and using their entrepreneurial minds, not for drug sales or scamming, whatever they're in federal prison for, but to uplift the community. And so I think that is a good thing, investing in human capital. I think you also have to make a sound investment in human capital for those who are not incarcerated as well. But that's just one of the aspects if we're looking at, the Trump administration and something that they're doing. That's very near and dear to my heart, which is getting people out of custody who don't need to be there.
Right. So seeing is believing for me. I'm happy that they're doing that. Like I said, I think the First Step Act, even though people don't understand that it started in the Obama administration, Trump reluctantly signed it, and it actually is a good thing.
Yeah.
He can do a good thing, and when he does a good thing, I have no problem giving credit. But I think this idea that he is somehow a better president for the incarcerated or justice impacted is just wrong, because he's cutting money for programs that help people who are in reentry. He is bringing back and speeding up the death penalty. He is reopening private prisons and expanding private prisons so that they can put folks in ICE custody. And he is profiting off of the private prison system. All of those things do not bode well.
Yeah. And I think what impacts us most is the empowerment we felt when Obama was elected as a black community, as those who identify as progressive. It was like the most progressive.
Well, he
thing.
wasn't progressive. I mean, he was a moderate. He was a centrist.
But it felt that way. It felt good. And so when we talk about the impact of Donald Trump, those officers that he gets up there and say, you're going to die if you kill an officer, you're going to do this, or we're going to strengthen qualified immunity. Now it's letting those officers know that I am emboldened as an officer. I am empowered, and I can treat these subjects, not citizens, the way I want to. And I think that's the biggest impact of a Donald Trump administration on the day-to-day lives of black people in particular, is that law enforcement officers know they have someone in the White House that's going to have their back if they get a little rough.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. I think there's impacts as we see cuts in SNAP or food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. Yeah. I mean, those are survival impacts.
Yeah.
It's not just about feeling good for Obama. If we've already seen cuts to the Medicaid, to the Social Security staffing, that's going to...
Job Corps, that was big.
Yeah.
Too.
Although I think that's paused by a judge at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you think the judges are going to hold the line? There's been so many pausing of these layoffs and terrible policies, but for the most part, the administration defies them and keeps on doing whatever they want to do. Yeah. Do you think the judges are going to hold the line, and in the end, however long it takes, that the courts will be able to salvage some of our democracy in some of these programs?
Possibly. Because at the end of the day, it's like, all right, if they hold the line in the end, that end could be a decade from now. So the damage is done. Now it's like, oh, you're wrong. What's the get back for the family that's been on the street for a decade, for the kids that's now in prison because they felt they needed to do something to get some food on their table, and that thing that they felt to do, which is what the older, guys in their community told them to do, which is violate the law and commit crimes. And you get guys coming out from the 80s, 90s telling you, oh, do this, not realizing all the technological advances that now make it more difficult to commit those crimes you were committing in the 80s and 90s. And so you're setting people up to get caught quite easily.
Because there are cameras everywhere. They have AI facial recognition. They've got probably stuff I don't even know about.
Yeah, license plate readers are the big thing. It's like, how do you know that was my car? It's on a grainy camera. Well, we got this license plate reader in the neighborhood that shows your license plate was in that area at that time, as well as the cell phones, as well as the cameras.
Your own cell phone being like a little tracking device that you carry.
Exactly.
We all have an ankle bracelet. It's called our cell phone.
Yeah, and it's like they're doing burglaries and they're texting like I'm in, and now it's like you're and they're not erasing these text messages. So when they're
can you even erase text messages? I mean, I thought they were always recoverable.
Well, if they have the phone, I think you can erase and clean your phone if they, because it's gone. It's no longer there. You do like a dump and then go in and do the second erase. That's the thing a lot of us don't do is that second erase.
Oh, you got to wipe it clean.
Got to wipe it clean. But,
that's your attorney talking to you right now.
Yeah, and I'm not encouraging committing crime, but I'm also not encouraging making it easy to get caught, because I believe people can commit crime and realize the wrong of their ways without prison and stop and be more productive.
And also, being stupid is never good.
No, it's just not.
It's just never good. Like, yeah, we do things on our phones, and I'm going to include myself, but we do things on our phones like it was private. It ain't private.
No. There's. I mean, you can do your private. You could go to search on Safari and do the private Safari search, and I guess that's the most private you can get.
Really, more than DuckDuckGo?
Well, maybe DuckDuckGo, but that even still, it's the internet. There's a record of somewhere that somebody can find if they look deep enough. And these companies, however private they want to be, when they get that subpoena, they're going to comply with that subpoena. Yeah. So whatever information they have, they will turn over.
And by the way, we're not just talking about crimes. We're also talking about your political views at this point.
Yeah.
The way that this administration is moving. Jaaye Person-Lynn is here. He's an attorney. If you got a question or conversation, hit us up. If not, I do. 800-920-1580. We are unapologetically unstupid. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say.
Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DiPrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
We love you. Love you.
If you need up to $3,000, go to WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com is the name you can trust. It's free to use, available 24/7, and you are never required to accept any loan offer. Some lenders offer same-day funding. If you need up to $3,000, type WeFixMoney.com directly into your browser. WeFixMoney.com has been helping customers for 15 years and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. So, if you need cash for credit card bills, car repairs, child care, or anything else, go to WeFixMoney.com. Make sure you type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. Go to the company you trust, WeFixMoney.com. Just fill in the information and get an answer in minutes at WeFixMoney.com. For up to $3,000, go to WeFixMoney.com. That's WeFixMoney.com.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Okay, so look, our KBLA 1580 4th anniversary events are almost here. It's really next week because it's Juneteenth, Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn. All 4 of our special events, 4-year anniversary, 4 events. Seating is getting tight, so I am begging you to go to KBLA1580.com and sign up for what you want to come to. The tickets are free. We just need to know you're coming, and I don't want you calling here mad when it's full and trying to get me to get you in. Anyway, look, we want you to celebrate with us. If you're coming to the barbecue, we're having a barbecue on the actual Juneteenth. We want you to bring a gift card of any amount for a restaurant or grocery store for the Altadena Eaton Fire folks who are displaced and still struggling. We're grateful for whatever you can do, whatever you can bring. You can come to one event or all 4. If you're going to choose one, choose mine. That'll be Saturday the 21st, the State of Black Women in LA. We'll have some real movers and shakers there. I'll be moderating a couple of panels. We're going to have lunch, and then we're going to do some brain trust, brainstorm, fellowship type stuff and come up with solutions, and it's going to be fun. Men, women, everybody's invited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations, turning 4.
Can you believe it? It's been 4 years already.
Yeah.
KBLA1580.com. Free. Just register. Yeah, it's incredible. We've made it thanks to people like you, Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn, and those who have supported us.
Well, we love having KBLA. We love having this voice for the people, especially here in Los Angeles.
Black owned. You're into the black owned. I didn't realize the you got a black owned tie, a black owned watch.
Yeah, shoes, Mando. Yeah, Italian twine on the watch and verse 9 on the tie and socks. So, yeah, try and keep it black owned.
The tie and socks match. That is so fly. I love it.
The Ben Crump line.
Oh, that's the Ben Crump line?
Shout out to our Southern brothers out there.
All right, the entrepreneurial peoples. So, you asked me, what are we talking about, Dominique? You always text me that. What are we talking about? And I, listed a bunch of things because it feels like I'm seeing all these Know Your Rights posts. Yeah. And BLMLA made the point that a Know Your Rights post is useless if you're in a period of time where you no longer have those rights, which it appears we currently are.
Yeah, well, this... The thing about it and martial law that we had discussed briefly via text is that it's the way you have to move, the way you have to act is the way we've been moving and acting as it relates to law enforcement as black people for our entire existence in the United States of America. It's like at any point you can be stopped, you can be searched, and it's like, oh, they violated my rights. And maybe, just maybe, you might get some redress in courts. But on that day, you're going to be violated, and there's not much that you can do about it when it's a mandate from the federal government to do. And so, and you have the support of local, state, and local law enforcement as well in that mandate. As you see the shields, some shields say National Guard, some shields say LAPD, some shields say sheriffs, but they're all standing next to each other, all on the same team. And so we have to understand that this is what's really going on. So no matter how many laws are violated, this is an administration that the Supreme Court could tell they're wrong, and they're like, my bad. But you can't do nothing about it now because they're already out of our jurisdiction.
Right, you're already in El Salvador or at Guantanamo Bay.
And that's what we're dealing with. So we can't, think we can shame this administration. We can shame this situation and just make them feel, make them feel like, oh, you know what, that is wrong. Maybe we shouldn't go after people at kids' graduations. It's like that's not what we're dealing with right now. So you still want to enforce your rights just in case it does get to court, and you can still be on the right side of the law once it gets to court. But these are the times that we have to recognize that those rights, even though it hasn't been a declaration of martial law formally, that you can expect that treatment right now.
So it sounds like what you're telling me is it's business as usual for black people.
Yeah, it's just the rest of the community gets to feel it. And, a lot of in a lot of respects here in Los Angeles specifically, the Latino community, the Mexican-American crowd, where things get tricky is like on the same way you see like the white agents chasing down ICE, Latinos, you see the ICE agents chasing down Latinos. You go to the next post, you see a bunch of Latino cops with a bunch of black guys on the wall, handcuffed and being searched. And so it makes it tough. And I know there's a large conversation going on about where is the black community's role in these ICE raids? Where should we stand? And that's why a lot of people feel like, hey, it's not our fight, because so often we're the same thing these ICE agents do to the Latino crowds, the Latino LAPD officers and LA sheriff officers are doing to black men day in and day out.
But a good number of those ICE agents are Latino too.
Yeah,
and they're doing it to Latino people,
and that's what we have to. It's
the blue situation.
Yeah.
And we can talk more about this on the other side of news, traffic, and sports. But for my read, aside from the fact that we as black progressives have been the moral compass of the whole world, right? And we're talking about the treatment of human beings. If you don't want to go to that high level, let's talk about when has it ever worked out well for black people when our communities are flooded with law enforcement, whether it's FBI, DEA, ICE, whatever the letters are.
Yeah.
I just correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that hasn't worked for us. I can't think of any time. I mean, you could maybe look at specific instances when, like, the National Guard was brought in, so I think Ruby Bridges could go to school. But that was like, short-lived for one, and it's like, did it really make things better in the long run? Who knows? But in the moment, it helped. But that was a moment. But overall...
Right, and they weren't flooding our neighborhoods like what's happening now. Marines aren't on the ground yet, but National Guard and FBI and ICE and Homeland Security are literally flooding the neighborhoods.
Yeah, and we have to realize there's bigger things at play here, right? Donald Trump is already thinking about, he can't run anymore, at least by current rules, but he's going to challenge that. Look, we have to be prepared. He's going to challenge that. But for one, but for two, just his side and the side he represents getting in power, right? So if Gavin Newsom is a name that's gaining traction on the Democratic side, now we have to make him look weak years before the election to thwart his chances of becoming president in the future. And so I think it's not that simple, but that's part of it. And so, Trump brings 2,000 National Guard troops, Gavin Newsom files a lawsuit, and just in the eyes of the everyday American, one act is going to look a whole lot more powerful than the other.
Yeah, we'll talk more about this after news, traffic, and sports. Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn and you on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. San Jose, California's mayor is pushing a new policy allowing the arrest of homeless people who refuse shelter 3 times. Homeless advocate Sean Cartwright says the plan is ineffective.
The responsibility is really on them to understand the needs of unhoused people, and they don't.
Critics also call it inhumane, while Mayor Matt Mahan says it's a last resort to connect people with help. A 6-year-old black boy in Orange, New Jersey suffered second-degree burns after drinking scalding water at school. Idris Ikize's mother says a plumbing error at Lincoln Avenue School caused hot water to flow from a gym fountain. He's now recovering. And Snoop Dogg says he wants to bring a pop-up burger van to Celtic Park in Glasgow, Scotland. The rapper told the Sunday Mail he'll serve the burgers himself and hinted at teaming up with Scottish chef Gordon Ramsay for a future restaurant. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was a good day for both of LA's baseball teams. The Dodgers got a 5-2 win in San Diego. The Dodgers are back in action Friday night at home against San Francisco. The Angels beat Oakland 6-5 to complete a 3-game sweep. Third straight win for the Angels and their 7th straight win over Oakland. The Angels start a 7-game road trip Friday night in Baltimore. The Indiana Pacers are up 2-1 in the NBA Finals. They beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 116-107. A game-high 27 points off the bench for Pacers backup guard Benedict Mathurin. The Pacers bench outscored OKC's bench 49-18. Game 4 is Friday night in Indianapolis. Florida A&M Athletic Director Angela Suggs was placed on administrative leave with pay. Suggs is facing felony charges for allegedly running up $24,000 in personal charges on a company credit card at a previous job. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready to play? Then jump into the LA 84 Foundation's free Playday Block Party, a community celebration for all ages, including live music, dancing, LA's pro sports teams, great local food trucks, plus special giveaways for you to take home. Enjoy an exciting, fun-filled day for the entire family. Join us Saturday, June 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 2141 West Adams Boulevard. To register, go to la84.org. We'll see you Saturday, June 28th at LA 84 Foundation's free Playday Block Party.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilman Curran Price, inviting you to join us on Saturday, June the 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we cut the ribbon on the brand new Enel Woods Park at 8703 South McKinley Avenue. Thanks to a generous donation from Heal the Bay, the park features smart irrigation, stormwater capture systems, and space for local wildlife to thrive. And we've built a walking trail, picnic areas, native landscaping, and quiet spaces for families to gather, relax, and connect. This is part of a much larger effort to expand green spaces across South LA with 3 new parks in the works, a first-of-its-kind community center coming soon, and plans to connect it all through the South LA Greenway. So mark your calendar for Saturday, June 14th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and come celebrate a greener, stronger South LA at NL Woods Park. I'm also pleased to sponsor the Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium, moderated by Tavis Smiley, live on C-SPAN, Wednesday, June the 18th, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Just a reminder to sign up right away at the KBLA1580.com website to join me, Mayor Karen Bass, Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager Dove, Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson, Dr. Cornel West, former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr., the Sierra Club's Ben Jealous, and other black influencers in the climate and health fields as we continue to amplify the connection between climate and poor health outcomes for our people. Thank you for listening. I'm Councilman Curran Price.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
That would be us. It's me, Dominique DiPrima, along with my friend and colleague, attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn. And man, a lot to unpack. So you were saying really martial law has not been officially declared, but we're under Trump Republican new Confederate law.
Yeah, and it's,
so act accordingly.
That. I mean, you just have to know what you're up against, right? They're organized, they're resourced. You go out there just feeling a certain way, acting on emotion, you're probably not going to get too far. If, the energy you spend yelling or throwing things, if that energy is spent, organizing and coming up with plans with groups and organizations that you can effectuate in this struggle, you'd be better served because the disorganization plays right into their hands.
Right into their chaos theory. Yeah. What do I do if I'm detained? Let's say I'm at a protest or perhaps an airport or school or a graduation or Home Depot and I'm detained. What do I do?
Well, the good thing about that is that your rights still remain, right? So number one in that list to me would be that Fifth Amendment right to remain silent.
STFU.
Yeah, and in the regard of if we're talking about status, immigration status and whatnot, I mean, it's one thing if you're born here and you like, ICE, why you got your hands on me? I ain't never been nowhere else. But otherwise, especially if you are undocumented, they may or may not know who you are, so don't make it easy for them. The other thing is, you want to, once you're in their grasp, if you try and break free, now they have, even if they illegally grabbed you, there's going to be a argument and a physical response in that moment. So you have to be aware of that and assert your rights in the form that if I'm detained, I want a lawyer and I'm not speaking beyond that. And just kind of do what you do. If you're going to sing songs, do that. But just don't make it worse for yourself.
So shut the heck up. Ask for a lawyer and say your lawyer is going to be talking, not you.
Yeah.
And don't volunteer information like who you are. Here's the thing. I mean, David Huerta, local labor leader, is a citizen. ICE took him into custody. My brother, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, is a black American citizen, a freedman, so to speak. They didn't care. They took him into custody. Same rules apply. I mean, and Assembly Member Isaac Bryan is on Instagram today saying that there are U.S. citizens in ICE custody in L.A. right now.
Yeah, and I mean, certainly if you are a U.S. citizen, no questions about it. You can assert that. Like, I'm a U.S. citizen. I have rights. I'm adhering to my rights. But just understand that's why, we're in this position. It's like, man, this is happening. Yeah, it's really happening right in front of our faces. And, this disorganization is only making it easier for them to spew their rhetoric. And, it could be 1,000 of us out there to peaceful protests and a couple people throw rocks or Molotov cocktail. Now it's a violent protest with thousands of people that requires a National Guard.
Right. I mean, the fact that the second night they arrested 25 people, but you need hundreds of Marines to arrest 25 people? We're in really sad shape as a country if that's the case.
Yeah, and the other thing is, flying those other flags is not going to get you any sympathy from anybody else around the country.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I mean, you're talking about people flying Mexican, Salvadorian.
Yeah.
But for some reason, flying Israeli flags doesn't have the same problematic effect.
Yeah, well, I didn't see many of them out there.
No, not at these protests, but we've seen them at other protests, and I haven't heard anyone complaining about that.
Well, it's.
I mean, I'll be out there with my USA flag. I'll be out there with my USA flag because that's how I roll. But I'm just saying it's a double standard, apparently.
Of course, but understand a USA flag upside down is probably the protest you want to make because that is a symbol of being in distress, and I think that's accurate for these times.
Yeah. Linka just DM'd me that my brother and the president were both peaceful. And my brother wasn't even protesting. He was there to greet members of Congress and have a press conference.
Yeah.
Doing his job as mayor. But he says we know they'll lie, and that sounds like being walked off into the dark in the concentration camps in World War II. And to be honest with you, Attorney Person-Lynn, I think about that as an outspoken Black American.
Yeah.
If I'm traveling or just walking around my city and somebody decides to detain me and or arrest me, do they have a right to look in my phone? Because we got the advice from BLMLA, turn off your fingerprint and face unlocking to make it harder for them. But do I have to unlock my phone to them? Do I have to hand it over to them?
That's part of your right to remain silent. I mean, whether they have the right to, do they have the right to without a warrant? No, by law. Do they have the power to, and will they? That's another question.
Right.
But don't make it easy for them.
Okay, but I was also told, and this could be wrong because this is activists talking to activists and no one was an attorney. I was told that once you talk about customs, like when you go into or out of the country, they can force you to unlock your phone.
That's not my understanding at all. Like when they say, oh, I saw you make a post about customs on your Facebook and now you have to unlock your phone. That is not something I'm aware of that any law supports.
But to your point, what they can do and what they will do, maybe two different things.
Maybe two different things. And it's like, now, we're going to do a nationwide class action against federal agents because they unlocked our phones illegally. I mean, we could do it, but what are they going to say? The courts are going to say, government, adhere to the laws that are already in place. They're not going to create new laws. These laws are already in place and they're being violated. Therefore, it's just one of those things, one of the many things that we have to look at. Reality, it's a de facto, which is the fact of law, and the de jure, which is like how it's actually played out. And so the laws are there to protect us. It sounds good on paper, but the actions of the government are different than the laws often, or interpreted by the government in a way that says, oh no, this law doesn't protect you. It allows us to do something. And they do have a lot of those laws with the Patriot Act and whatnot. So there are carve-outs for the federal government to expand their power.
Wasn't the Patriot Act supposed to go away?
Yeah, but I believe it got renewed.
Yeah, it never sunsetted. So, I mean, it allows us to be in sort of a surveillance state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, by law.
By law.
Yeah.
So does that tie your hands as my attorney?
No, I mean, we still go out there. That's the thing about this profession. I think one thing that drew me to this profession is that it's our job. People expect us to advocate for our people, for our positions. Being a criminal defense attorney, I'm like one of the few black professionals that can speak on certain injustices that go on in our communities. And it's my duty to, as a social engineer, a Howard Law trained social engineer, and I should, and so we do. So you won't see many people backing down. Last night at the screening for John Burris, which is the godfather of police litigation, is the name of the documentary. He talked about that. Like, it's for those of us in this profession, it's not like a thing of being brave as much as it's just what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to act. And in many cases it is bravery, and in many cases we are putting ourselves at risk going against those people and those organizations that are government funded and in power. But it's the job. And so you'll see us continue the fight regardless of, how uphill the battle may be. You'll see us continue the fight. And it's one of the good things about being an attorney, a criminal defense attorney, a civil rights attorney, is that people expect you to stand up and take those positions. And people expect you to educate them on how protecting the rights of this group over here is still protecting your rights. Because once we allow as a society this group's rights to be shortened, it's a slippery slope, and they're coming for you next.
Yeah, it's a great point. Judge Maybelline Ephraim, who, is famous for divorce court, was on this show kind of saying something like what you just said, which is that the civil rights lawyers, especially black civil rights lawyers, African-American, black American lawyers, have always held the line, have always in tough times, whether it's McCarthyism or after... after post-Civil War, have always been key to us not losing what rights we had and to securing more that we're striving for.
Yes, and that's our charge. Charles Hamilton Houston, Harvard Law grad, former dean of Howard University School of Law, coined the phrase that a lawyer is either a social engineer or a parasite on society. And so that's, that calling to be a social engineer, somebody that's making society be what we want it to be, is our call as black lawyers. And shout out to the National Bar Association. We're having our 100th annual conference in Chicago next month. And it's amazing because this is an organization when black people couldn't be in the American Bar Association, the largest bar association in the country. We created our own, most of the founders being Howard Law graduates. Of course, in 1925. But we're still here in 2025 celebrating our 100 years.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you.
We're talking with attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn. It's not too late to get in on the conversation. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Every mother deserves a healthy and joyous pregnancy and birth, and every baby deserves to thrive. That's why the Los Angeles County Abundant Birth Project is here. The Abundant Birth Project is a guaranteed income program that provides cash during pregnancy to pregnant individuals at the highest risk of preterm and low birth rate babies. Although program enrollment has closed, our commitment to Black joy and thriving continues. Through tailored services that foster mental well-being and community-based resources, we provide care and support during pregnancy and after the baby is born to help build brighter futures for our families. Join us in celebrating abundant births in LA County. For more information, please visit abundantbirthproject.org. abundantbirthproject.org.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
And love is winning today with attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn. Hey, if I need an attorney or somebody needs an attorney, they're accused of a criminal or civil rights, are in need of some civil rights defense, how do they find you? How do they sign up?
It's always easy to find me on Instagram as Lincoln Lawyer LA. On Facebook, Jaaye, Jaaye Person-Lynn. You can always call me 424-261-2075, and we will get you the help that you need as best as we can.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like the lawyers must be pretty busy right now because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of emails. Shout out to the Langston Bar Association. Our president, Langston Bar Association, John M. Langston, is a Black Lawyer Association here in Los Angeles, the eldest. You also have Black Women Lawyers LA. But they're certainly in this fight, galvanizing attorneys to help people with their issues, sending out letters and memos on what to do and where our stance is. So, we are very active. The emails are blowing up from the lawyer organizations right now.
Okay, I asked you about whether or not these folks can actually look in my phone or force me to open my phone or force me to hand it over. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, and this pertains to protesters, and just our everyday lives, because it seems like it's much more surveillance-y right now, if that's a word. Social media. Should I be not posting my protests on socials? I mean, should I be more mindful of my political post? My sister said to me, Dominique, you might as well give up because you got, 25 years of radio show, 30 years of radio shows and social media posts and protests. But in general, I mean, you were talking about criminals or alleged criminals telling on themselves by text messages or by not knowing that there's license plate readers everywhere. We don't even know what those things look like. We wouldn't even know when we were getting read, right?
Yeah.
So what about the social media aspect of that?
Well, I think it comes down to if you're just out there walking, protesting peacefully, and you're doing that, and you're showing that that's what you're there to do is to peacefully protest, I don't see anything wrong with that. Obviously, you don't want to hand your phone to your friend and say, look at me throw this rock in this police car.
Right.
Those, you have to expect. There will be agents surveilling social media looking for people who have done wrong. But it's not so much that they expect you to do something wrong. It's like you're videotaping yourself, but the next person with this color outfit on or these color shoes on is doing something that your camera catches, and they use it for that purpose. That's another angle to catch somebody else.
I mean, DA Nathan Hochman at a press conference yesterday was doing his impression of the old cowboy movies. We will catch you. We will hunt you down. We will find you. And he was talking about exactly that, social media posts, that they're going to be scanning all the social medias, that there's cameras everywhere. And a thing that people don't pay enough attention to that's been used against protesters in the past is the Ring cameras. What were you doing when you were walking to the protest before you even got there? This is a huge informal surveillance system that police do have access to. Thank you, Amazon. And then we hear about people like Khalil Mahmoud, they're really being targeted because they protest.
Yeah.
And not because of illegal activity, because they supported peace in Palestine, because they came out for DEI in the case of, Angel Marie Taylor, a student that I had on. So it's not just criminal activity at this point. How careful do we need to be?
I mean, but the point of the protest is to not be careful, right? I mean, to a certain degree.
Right,
it's like
to be heard and
Dr.
seen.
King was like, hey, we're going to get arrested. We're going to sit in jail. This is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to show the world the treatment that we're being subjected to. And so when you're going out there for this, just understand, be clear about what you're going for. Are you going for the revolution? Are you going for the gram? If you're going for the gram, just stay in the background, post your pictures. But if you're going for the revolution, just understand you may have to go along for the full ride, which will include some time in chains.
Yeah, wow. It's a good perspective. What we might not be bargaining for, even if we're ready for that, to be writing our own letter from a Burbank jail, is the deportation part.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't lie. No matter how much protesting I do, I'm not ready to be deported. I don't know what I would do if I was to be deported. But, the California prison system is significant enough, not that I would ever say words that would lead me to be in those systems as an inmate. I go in there for a client, but I can leave at the end of the day. But just understand that these fights that we're in, they're not fair fights, and you're gonna take your lumps, and you're agreeing to sacrifice your freedoms, your body, your liberties for the greater good. And that's what we're doing, because as long as this system is in play, these things are going to happen. And certain things, it almost feels like, California's being baited into a battle with the federal government so the federal government can flex their muscle in California.
Yep.
And so you also want to be cognizant of that and not get emotionally drawn into a physical battle that you can't win. You want to always play on the field that you can win. So, Californians have to strategize and see, what can we do? How can we win? How can we put the country on notice and tell the federal government that we are still a bit of a sovereign and we need to be respected as such? But part of that is, California does such a great job at suppressing black people that now you could use our help, and now we all suppress. Our strength is locked away in those hundreds of thousands of cages that y'all got for us.
Ooh, wow. Well said.
Yeah.
Jaaye Person-Lynn, attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn, we got 60 seconds. How would you like to spend it?
Well, I think, we talk about a lot of the injustices, but I think one day, Dominique, we should do a show on all the heightism that's out there in our community and how us being vertically challenged people just causes us so much strife. I mean, yeah, we get to walk under trees without having a duck, but just the way people talk to us and deal with us just for being born this height, I think we should address as a community.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Especially since physiologically being closer to the earth is actually healthier.
I mean,
no shade to the tall people, but
yeah.
And also
Miles wouldn't understand.
He wouldn't understand, not at all. But if you travel to Japan, you should spend some time in Tokyo.
Central
Everything
America
is designed for us.
Yeah, I was at the Kappa house there. Urinals were all tall. I had to get them. I said, come on, man. Y'all need to do better, Kappas.
Yeah.
Y'all got short Kappas. All y'all not tall.
Yeah, I suggest vacation in Tokyo. It was a revelation for me.
We're not the only ones.
No, not at all. They got a whole country. Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, indeed. Shawnee Jackson, Miss Jackson, a.k.a. Mama YG, next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. San Jose, California's mayor is pushing a new policy allowing the arrest of homeless people who refuse shelter 3 times. Homeless advocate Sean Cartwright says the plan is ineffective.
The responsibility is really on them to understand the needs of unhoused people, and they don't.
Critics also call it inhumane, while Mayor Matt Mahan says it's a last resort to connect people with help. A 6-year-old black boy in Orange, New Jersey suffered second-degree burns after drinking scalding water caused hot water to flow from a gym fountain. He's now recovering.